Resident Evil 5.
Hello there, Sir from 17 once again. This is my Resident Evil 5 professional difficulty video walkthrough. This is Chapter 6-2, it's called The Main Deck. This is the preamble to a boss fight which is it's kind of hilarious in how crappy it is, but we're going to completely mitigate all that aforementioned shitfest with a well-timed rocket. So, move through these quarters, ducking when you come to vents, because you'll have to, and the closer you are to the vent, i.e. the faster you do this section, and the more rushed you are, the less time you'll have to press the QuickTime button, so be conscious of this fact, because they do damage, and they can feel really cheap if you get to that vent a little sooner than the game wants you to, because they'll be very fast. But we're going to be pushing through these quarters, dodging the boss, and then we're going to go outside and we're going to fight it. And you might be like, well, Chris, why is this boss crap? Why don't you like it? I'm glad you asked, sir, who conveniently asks all these really easy setups for me to go into tangents on my videos. You are most useful. Well, I say this because it's pretty much ripping Gears of War off for no reason other than because diversity, I guess, because why not? It is a creature that you use a Hammer of Dawn to kill, only this Hammer of Dawn is nowhere near as fun or as skillful as the one from Gears, but it's equally as unreliable as the one in Gears, which is, if you're going to put a mechanic from another game into your game, you want to make it better. You don't want to make it equal and then subpar in areas. It just doesn't make sense to me. You know, it's like when games... What was that game that added active reloads and it did it shit? Earth Defense Force. So how many videos, just a show of hands guys, how many times in walkthroughs have I mentioned that developers should steal the active reload because it's one of the best mechanics nobody copies? It is a skillful, timing-based, precise way of rewarding reloads, and I think it's perfect. But nobody does it except for Gears. And I don't think it's because they have some kind of copyright on that specific gimmick in gaming, because everything in gaming copies each other. You know, the cover system from Gears came from Killswitch, and then games before that, and all kinds of different games that have cover systems that are iterated on and made amazing. You know, nothing in Gears is original. It's been seen before, it's just iterated on and it's done in a different way. That is the same thing with everything. So why don't more games do this? And then the one game that did do it was terrible. Not only was the precision of pressing the reload bad and unresponsive, but it didn't give you any kind of benefit for doing it. Like, what the fuck, dude? What's the point in having a mechanic when it doesn't do anything? I don't get it. But those games are goofy, and if you've ever played them, they're very silly. But the reload in that game was hilarious, because it made it feel really unresponsive and just not good. You know, the best thing about the actives is how satisfying they feel. And it's that feeling that was completely missed by Earth Defense Force, and then mechanically they were just bad. But it's fun to see them imitate it. The second reason I think this boss is shit is he spews out these little slug dudes, these little, like, tentacle pizzas that sneak up on you and tickle your balls, and they hurt. And I don't get it. So I'm making a mistake right now, guys. My rifle's not as good as I wanted it to be. I should have used the Hydra. The Hydra is way stronger at this point in the game for me, because what you have to do is you have to damage these questionable tentacle testes, and then when he shows you the cutscene of him exposing his bell end, or whatever you want to call it, his ever so special part, we fire the rocket at the special part. That was me throwing a grenade like an idiot. I was, you know, being creative. It didn't work. But the reason I'm using my rifle is I'm so used to it being max upgraded. And on max upgrade, this rifle is great. But mine isn't, so I needed to be aware of this, and I just wasn't. So there are the little scrubber tentacle pizza men who are just having little paddies. They're probably one of the new Pokemon from like the 9th generation of Pokemon, where they're essentially just taking fridge magnets and sticking them in TV dinners and calling them something crap. But I'm not sure. Just know that they're everywhere and they do move. They might be slow, but they can cover some distance when they need to. So there goes one of the appendages, whatever you want to call it, and here comes the G-spot, the magic nipple, and pop on that rocket launcher and end this boss fight. Oh, thanks. There's a nice tickle monster hitting me after I fire the rocket. Oh, it's just not my favourite part is all, guys. But alleviate all of that bullshit with a nice rocket to the clam, and that's the end of the video. So thank you for watching, and you take care now.